Yippee!
Hello everyone and welcome to our live stream. My name is Katharina, I'm the community manager, and next to me is sitting Volker, our creative director. Hi Volker.
Yes, hello, good evening, and I will have the pleasure today to present you our mining update, the biggest update we have done yet for Pioneers of Pagonia.
So thank you all for tuning in. I'm really excited for this one because our upcoming mining update is packed with a lot of new features. And our official launch is on the 25th of June. Today we're showing you all the new features of our upcoming mining update.
So, we will start today with the famous Geologist. So overall we have about 10 new buildings, 12 new resources and commodities, and 12 new unit types in the game. So will be a lot to see. So we start here with the Geologist. You can already see 2 geologists are working here. They need durations to do their work, and you can already hear that they are talking in this area. They are not that successful. Let's see. So really not happy. And they will now put up a sign of what they found, and this sign basically means nothing. Sad. Same for the other guy. But maybe let's take a look at the third geologist, who is over here. And he just danced a little bit. We were a second too late to see it, but now he scribes what he has found, and, well, it's some coal. Not a very big vein, but at least we found some here. That's very nice. Okay, and the geologist building itself, you can see it here, is home for 3 geologists. It will be supplied with rations, as mentioned before. And, well, also as a geologist, you can see a kind of efficiency about how often he's working. This efficiency display is something new that we have, which is valid for all buildings, all production buildings and all harvesting buildings, which show you then how much they are working and operating. Let's see, we have only 18% on this sawmill, for example, so it's probably lacking materials. But you can see in the last hour what happened in the building. Did it operate or did it not operate? What kind of things can the geologist find? The subsurface resources are coal, iron ore, silver ore, gold ore, and nickel ore. But gold and nickel you can only find below the surface. Okay, we now take a look at the new enemies that we will have in the game. So the first contact that happens with them. We are talking about the scavengers, and the scavengers will be a quite new and different challenge to what you've seen before in the game about enemies. They are expanding territory and they are harvesting resources. So that puts a very kind of different, let's say, pressure on the player to make sure that he's not taking too much time to get them under control, because they use the resources to recruit new units. And they expand the territory, and that means you can't access those. And everything that they harvest is no longer accessible to you. They only harvest mining resources, so everything from stone to ores and coal. So that's what they are using also to recruit their new units. You can see here already a bit in the background, it's still mostly in the fog, their base building. We will see it in more detail at a later point in time. By the way, here you can also see that we also do visual upgrades. We have new plants here, for example, on stone plateau areas. Really adds a nice, better atmosphere to those which looked quite empty before. We can now take a look at the minings. We have here in this area, we've placed a few mines. We have here, for example, a coal mine. You can see there's an elevator here where the miners are going down and they're coming up. And well, this time they were not successful at all. So they are picking up new softwood beams and going down again and trying once more. So all 3 miners have a chance to find the resource below the surface, depending on how rich a depot is. You can take a look here. Here we have a silver mine. Maybe they are more lucky. Just going down. The softwood beams are necessary for their tunnels, to extend the tunnel systems and softwood beams. They also need nutrition meals like the surface too to be supplied. And well, 3 are coming up. 1 at least found silver, so better than nothing. By the way, also if there's a deposit on the surface, for example, if you find coal or iron ore on the surface, there's a higher likeliness that this vein extends below the surface at this location, but it's not sure. It can be, but it's more likely than in other locations. Let me take a look now at some other features which also have been added recently in our last quality of life update. You can see here again the trade building, and what we've did is we've added an acquainted state to the neutral villages. So before there was only neutral, and if you had a lot of objective fulfilled, they became your friend. But we've now added an in-between state, which is on halfway to this. And it means that at this point you can much earlier start trade or receive gifts with the other factions. And that makes, of course, trade more exciting. And we also increase the number of trade offers that we have that you get offered. So, for example, here, this is really a nice offer. So just after meeting them, they are gifting me 95 light armors. So that's something I really appreciated and used the opportunity rangers really fast. Besides, there's also the objectives are extended. So we have some new buildings, which are also objective buildings on one hand, but also, as you can see, for example, the new commodities are now in trade offers and gift offers. So all these features have been extended to also use all the new commodities. Let's move to the next one. Contact between the scavengers and ourselves. The scavengers are extending their territory and are getting in contact here with our guards. And well, it's a creeper. By the way, it doesn't have the right visualization yet. So this is a kind of a beta graphic, so it's a copy of another scavenger unit. The scavengers have basically three major unit types. So one is the creeper, who is able to extend the territory. Then they have two units which are harvesting. One is harvesting the surface and another one is harvesting the subsurface resource. And we see some. And then they have also guards which protect the others, which are their strongest combat. The scavengers also, as you can see here, have a base, and they are also able to expand to new bases. So they will raise new bases if they find enough limestone to build a new one. And therefore they can occupy the whole map in the end. So if you limit their expansion, it will be really difficult to overcome. Here, by the way, we have an ore scraper, which is a harvester who can harvest the subsurface resources. So right now, they don't have a building yet to do it, but I will show you that a bit.
So will we, as a player, be able to get the territory back once the base is destroyed?
Yeah, when the base is destroyed, the territory which connected to that base will be neutral again. Also a scavenger base with a mine. As the scavengers will also harvest subsurface resources. So here, this match I played today before. There I'm already quite, if you look at the map down here, you can see that I enabled only scavengers on this map. I will add a bit more info about that later. So we have several scavenger factions around me, and I'm quite limited, so I only can expand to the northeast. All the other areas are occupied by scavengers. And therefore, I need to really get this under control and defeat them here better sooner. Well, because they will also cause a lot of chaos in our village if it starts that you're getting in contact. So at the border, there will often be combat in that. We will now take a look at the furnace. That's also a new building for the player. And the furnace is able to create steel. So it needs nickel bars and iron bars to melt them into steel bars. And the steel can be used to produce new weapons, new armor. We will now take a look at that. So you can see already here the work procedure at the furnace. The fire is burning inside. Here we have some nickel bars, which are ready. Here's one of the steel bars, which has just been produced up and will probably go to the armor smith or to maybe the weaponsmith teacher. By the most advanced soldier and the strongest units, the strongest over unit the player can build. And in the weaponsmith, there's more new weapons. So overall, there's now daggers for the blade dancers, the iron daggers are added, but also steel daggers for the stronger versions. There's a steel halberd and there's also a steel mace which has been added. So the steel halberd is for the new upgraded guard, the elite guard, while the steel mace is also for the new elite soldier. And the last building which produces the new equipment is the tailor. We have a tailor here. So the tailor is now not only added, before it was light armor and padded armor with iron. Now we also have steel padded armor, which is crafted with steel instead and which is useful for the most advanced. So we had the furnace. Now we take a look at the new units so that you can see at least how the new units are looking. Here we have a few of them. We have here the new elite soldier with the steel mace and the steel shield. And we have on the other hand here, I hope he survived, a veteran, an elite guard. Okay, let's see, can we send them to attack? I think we will do. So here, let's take a look. We have some scavenger bases. By the way, I think they're really looking nice. And I guess this would be really would like to gain. And they've already done the harvesting work for nice. Here in this garrison, we have a group of blade dancers. Let me zoom in so that you can see how they look like. So you can see the two daggers. And they are that efficient against the scavengers because they are very fast moving and they know their weak spots. So that's why they are really fighting the scavengers. So let's send them to the first one here. We can send them right to the entrance because then all the new units coming out should be covered. In this tower we are trying to get soldiers, but we only have one veteran soldier right now. Whereas here, okay, so we can send this one too. Maybe we let him patrol the entrance. Well, and you can see now fighting here starts. So our blade dancers should be strong enough to space. From the enemies, all the harvesters are really weak. They're easy to defeat, but the combat units are much stronger. Let's see if they have advanced fighters ones. Pit watchers at basic ones, so they didn't probably find steel here. Quickly check here. No, not in this camp, it seems. Yeah, we can take a look at another one, maybe. Yes. Yeah, and that's most of the new things I wanted to show you. I will also go to the main menu and show you something here in the game options that has been added when you start a new game. So if you go to customize new map and choose to customize the map, there's now the new option that you can choose which enemy types should be in this map. So if you have objective with enemies or conquer island, for example, you can choose the difficulty of the enemies. So for example, let's say we take a comparably easy difficulty, but then we can choose for all the enemy types. Do we want bandits, thieves, scavs, specters, or werewolves, or do we want to disable them? We can disable the single ones, or we can also just play with one enemy type. So we, let's say, judged or estimated the power of each enemy type, and so you have a, let's say, roughly similar difficulty, even if you disable this point. Of course, it's still easier if you don't have that many we also have all predefined maps got an update, so they are different from the previous ones. They are roughly similar to what they were before, but they have updated trades, gift offers, and also updated objectives, as well as two of the maps and unfriendly neighbors, and the final one, dangerous hills, now also include scavenger enemies. And in the customizations, but that was already added with our quality of life update recently, there's also now the option when you're choosing to the amount of enemies to choose a very extreme setting, which means like you have really even 50% more enemies than before. And for the landing party, we added a co-op landing party, which starts with more units and resources, so that if you wish, you can build up fast new recipes in this area. There's also something which I forgot to show. It's something we have recently added. This is the meal histories. You can take a look at those. So if you select the tavern now, you can see which meals have been produced recently. So here you can see which meals have been served, and you can also see if they are currently being cooked. In this save game, it's a bit later. Try another one where we have. Let's take a look. Yeah, here it's still busy. So you can see now these are paired where the cooks are still shopping. They are cooking these two right now, and these meals have been served before. So you can now much more easily see how good those meals are. For example, here you can see the nutrition or the pleasure or the comfort value of the meals and which ingredients were used. There's also, if you go on the ingredients, there's a tooltip about how good those ingredients are for this type of meal. So this interface is now better understand the process of the meals and the cooking and the supply of the units. And there's also additional information at the buildings that use the meals. On one side, the residences, like here the cottages. You can see which meals have been recently consumed by those buildings. And this is similar for the mining buildings and the mining huts. Let's take a look here. This is running on rations only right now. Let's see if we have another one, which also, this one is only running on nutrition meals right now, and you can see which meals have been served. So really good supply here of boar meat, at least, while there's no side dish. Final explanation here. So a meal consists of a main dish, a side dish, a dessert, and something to drink. Right now, dessert and something to drink, we only have one commodity, like the raspberries and water. But for main dish and side dish, there's, I think, 5 each right now in the game. And these will also be further extended as we will have more usage for food in the future anyway.
Perfect. So I think that's it for today's stream. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope we could answer a lot of your questions today. I hope we'll see you in the next one, and have a nice evening.
Thanks a lot for coming. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening.